Well, 8 goals from the last 3 matches, 6 goals conceded. Argyle are certainly the entertainers. Well, anyone who says they're not enjoying this championship season is, quite frankly, lying, or at least very hard to impress. Lots of attacking football, lots of goals as well. But if Argyle could get a result today, that would be something very special indeed. Good afternoon, myself, David Waldridge here, joined alongside me, the brilliant Mark Edworthy as well. And we're building up to the Argyle Leeds game at Elland Road that will be kicking off from 3 o'clock this afternoon. You can get your audio and video passes right now over on the Argyle website. But we need to go back all the way to April 2007 for the last time these two sides met, and another 18 years on top of that for the last time Argyle beat Leeds United. Now, of course, this is the final game before that final and third international break of the year. And 15 matches in, it's been okay so far for Argyle. But, of course, it's a different task completely going to Elland Road. Mark, you played there back in the day. I mean, is it as intimidating as everybody says?
It certainly is, and firstly, good afternoon to everybody. What a fantastic occasion it is to go to Elland Road. It's great when you go there and win, David. I've been very fortunate. I have won there and I've lost there. It is a spectacle play there. You're playing against former Premier League opposition. And the results, you've seen the highlights here, some wonderful highlights, some wonderful goals. That doesn't always reflect in the results which you deserve. A wonderful 3-3 against Middlesbrough. Possibly could have won the game. 3-0 up against Sheffield Wednesday. But it's a different challenge this afternoon up at Elland Road. They sit third in the table. We talk about their squad and the expenses they've got there. It's incredible, really. They're an established Premier League club, won 4 at their last 5 games, a great result recently against Leicester. So a tough afternoon for Argyle for sure.
And this is the thing, isn't it? We're going to a side this afternoon who are unbeaten at home this season, but also a Premier League outfit still. It's not as if they've gone up the division and come straight back down again. They were there for a safe period of time, so that infrastructure behind the scenes is going to be still a Premier League standard.
Yeah, of course it is, and I think it reflects on the squad as well. We'll come to the team lines up shortly, but they've got quality players, and when you're in the Premier League, it's not £1 million players anymore. You're 30, 40, 50 million pound players. They want to bounce back on the first occasion with a parachute payment as well. So, and they sit up there, and rightly so. They should be there, Dave. If you've got a quality outfit like they have, and they're unfortunate to come down financially, they want to need to bounce back. They started well. I think they've just put a bit of a marker by beating Leicester 1-0 with that Rutter goal. But Argyle have been good on the road as well. They're a challenge from everybody. I think we discussed before. Only really the Bristol City game is probably the only game which Shuey would probably openly admit that his side didn't perform. Up until then, they've looked like a real good championship outfit.
And this is the thing, when you speak to those fans, when we visit away grounds, the one thing they always say is that Argyle are easily the best team that have visited us this season, but we just need to get over that line and get the 3 points on the board. Hopefully we can do that this afternoon. Now, you mentioned the team lineup, so let's have a quick look at those. Let's see who Stephen Schumacher has gone for this afternoon in that Argyle lineup for you. So just the 2 changes there you can see on your screen. So Cooper in goal, Plaguey back into the starting 11, Scar, Gibson, Kaysler, Hayden, Mumba, Houghton, Azaz, Randall, Kundal and Whittaker up front as well. Well, in that starting forward, playing him a little bit further ahead than usual with the absence of Hardy. I mean, how does that side look for you?
Well, again, it's a quality side. I think that's what Shuey's got plenty of opportunity to pick from, and the bench, unfortunately, we're missing a few players, but that's what the Championship does, and it allows players to come in with your squad situation. And I think, the way we're going to set up there away from home, we've got to be tight. We can't be open. Maybe look to catch Leeds on their counter-attack. But again, a quality side there. Whittaker is always going to cause problems up front as well. I think it'd be interesting to see what sort of formation we do go. If we leave him as a sort of lone striker, or we get some support up to him. Mumba can always break forward as well. So lots of opportunity. But I think with Hardy missing as well, he just gives you that little bit of, he gets in behind defence. He causes problems, and it allows Argyle to get further up the pitch. Bundy is obviously out as well. He's a big loss for us because he gives you a different dimension. He's big and strong, and since he's come into the side, he's done superbly well as well. But it gives opportunity for players to really, let Shuey know that they want to be in the starting 11.
Well, of course, Miller suspended today, but you mentioned there we've got to maybe go for a slightly more defensive approach this afternoon. We've scored 8 in the last 3, but also conceded 6 as well. I mean, we got to really watch that out, especially against a team like Leeds.
Yeah, we said before the show, didn't you, Dave? We are the entertainers, and we do, because when you watch Argyle, they're a joy to watch at home park. We do score goals, and I think the Championship compared to League One, where we fully deserved to win it last season, you're just getting punished by the slightest mistake, or it's just the quality of the Championship. There's so many former Premier League sides in the Championship now, and you look down the list of who we're playing, and every game you're thinking it's a challenge. It really is. There's no easy game in this league, and I think you've got to respect the opposition, and Leeds is one of them today. It's a big task for us this afternoon. But you've got to relish going up there and believe you're going to get the result, and I think we can get something there today.
Well, let's have a look at that opposition lineup for you. Leeds this afternoon, of course, no Stroik for the first time this season for them. Dallas and Shackleton as well, still out. Rutter, he's starting, though. He scored last time out against Leeds. He's a £36 million man. Oh, we dream for that kind of money down here. So you can see that's lineup there. Anybody sticking out for you from that, Mark?
Well, I think, Russ, as you said, we talked about the transfers, 36 million, no disrespect to the Argyle side, that's probably their whole squad. So that's the gulf between the Championship and the Premiership. And, he scored that goal against Leicester to give them that vital result and got them into 3rd position. They've only lost 3 all season, so it is a challenge. Somerville, obviously, he's there. He's their top scorer so far. But look, they're Premier League players, and that's what you've got to look at. But Argyle players will not fear them. You've got to respect them, of course. But they'll believe they can go up there. They would have done all the training, all the setup and preparation for this game, and they've got to believe they can get a result there.
I mean, you mentioned Somerville there, but also another man has eye for goal is Dan James, of course. A bag full of Premier League experience from him. Yeah,
James. Again, you can all go right through the list there. Obviously, Cooper, their captain, he leads by example, and I think that's the situation. You've got to go up there. Never fear the opposition, but respect is an important word, and I think Argyle can go. They've done it so many times. We went up to Ipswich and played superbly well. West Brom, former Premier League opposition, and really conducted ourselves not only superbly well on and off the field, but give them a real challenge. And was unfortunately, I think, not to beat West Brom and Ipswich on the road.
Well, this is the thing, you mentioned it there. I mean, we've been mixing it up with the big boys. It's safe to say we just need to get over that line. And last weekend, we did that once again, showing that we weren't pushovers as we played Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough have had a couple of forays forward, but haven't tested Cooper as yet. Jones, again, plays that 1-2 with Vandenberg and gets away from Miller. Low ball to the edge of the box, vital interception from Kaysler Hayden, who then slips. The shot comes in. Another desperate block from the Argyle defence. Middlesbrough keep it alive. Low ball across goal. Coleman is there! And Middlesbrough take the lead. They kept that ball alive. Whittaker Kesler Hayden lets it run. Cundall, Azaz on the edge of the box. Mumba is free on the right of the pass, finds him. Bali Mumba! And Argyle equalise. Here's Whittaker though for Argyle going forward. Plays it back to Cundall. And Argyle have it with Miller. Mumba is outside of him. Here he is. Lovely flick. Finds Azaz. Continues his run. Miller's there too. Azaz onto his right foot. He's going to cut it towards goal. Oh my word! You just saw a glimpse of the Middlesbrough bench as Argyle looking to play out, getting themselves in a real pickle at the back. Scar's giving it away. Slides in. Brings Greenwood down. Penalty Middlesbrough. Michael Cooper bounces on his line. Coburn, it's saved by Cooper, but it's going to be tapped in on the rebound. So unlucky for the Argyle keeper. Spreads play out to the right-hand side. Vandenberg finds Jones. Crooks makes a run beyond him and gets the ball as well. He pulls it back. Greenwood is there, and Middlesbrough take the lead. And just like Argyle in the first half, they've come from a goal down and lead at home park, having led at half-time. 2 quick-fire goals from Josh Coburn from the penalty spot, and Sam Greenwood have the visitors in front as Whittaker delivers left foot. It's a great ball through and in! And that is exactly what Argyle were after. 3-3.
Wow, what a game.
Well, I mentioned earlier that Argyle are the entertainers of the Championship this season, and another game full of talking points there, Mark, as well.
Certainly was. I mean, for the neutral, it was a magnificent game of football. Great advert for the Championship. For an Argyle fan, it's scratching your head time, pure frustration. Because the game, I think, it was 2 points dropped, personally. I think Middlesbrough, again, really strong opposition. But Argyle showed that desire and commitment to come back after going from behind. But, yeah, certainly one I think they should have won.
And this is the thing, we're looking so good in certain areas. I mean, also, even from dead ball situations, scoring free kicks like that all the time for fun. It's those defensive slight mistakes every now and then that you're going to get punished for at this level.
Exactly right. I think Azaz, as we talked about before, since we signed him on loan from Aston Villa and then made it a permanent signing, magnificent.
Oh,
it really was. Worthy of winning any game. And I think he's creative now. He's really settled in the Argyle show and he's playing some great football. And Dan Scar's been a leader. He leads by example. And I think he had the opportunity to play it from the back. I'm a former defender, and I think, okay, you play out when you can.
I knew you were going to pick on it, Mark.
It's not so much I'm picking on it, and he will know that. I think the reaction, the body language after, he was so frustrated because he played short, it got cut out. Then he tried to play into midfield, and he gets cut out. And then, unfortunately, then he goes to try to correct it and brings the player down for a penalty. So, again, a learning curve. He's been unlucky because that's what happens sometimes. It's little small decisions allows him to get back in the game, and then of course it's a double whammy with Cooper making the penalty save, and it was one of them. So, you know, he's been excellent for us, and I think as a learning curve for him, and you've just seen that pure frustration where we're conceding goals almost like at the wrong time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I know it was a slight mistake, but also in a way showed leadership qualities to go after that ball again after trying to rectify his mistake, you know. And so it's showing actually from a mental capacity point of view, really strong leadership.
Of course. I mean, he leads by example. When he's a pinnacle of the defence, when he's in there, his aerial ability has been superb. He wins it and drives the team on. And you could see he was frustrated with that mistake. And as we said, it happens. And over the course of the season, you can rectify that and make it better. But it just seems at the moment we are conceding at the wrong times, whether it's just before half-time or late on in games. And we're just getting punished for it. But that's what the Championship does.
And this is the thing, our opposition today leads third in the table, but Argyle are third in the table when it comes to scoring goals. And there's lots of various outlets of the team at the moment. How important are the likes of Azaz, Mumba, Whittaker without strikers as well? Yeah,
huge. I think today, especially we're missing a few players. You know, we've got to, I think Shuey's always mentioned, every player's got to give 7, 8 out of 10 to get a result in this league. And that's right, you've got to be on top of your game, so you can't afford to miss any players. And that's a case with any opposition you play. But Leeds is a different challenge for them. It's a real difficult place to go, as we said. But they can go win there. I know they can believe in themselves and go and win there. They've proven that they can be a match for any opposition so far. We've done that so far this season. And I think those players will step up to the plate and they'll relish that opportunity.
And in a way, you could argue that getting a big result today could be almost the way to build the season upon that. I mean, we're going into the international break. Getting 3 points at Ellen Road would be such a positive to go into that internationals with.
It would. I think it'd be a huge statement and a marker as well. We talked about the entertainers, and unfortunately we conceded goals. And you're hoping over the course of the season it does balance out, because you think maybe 2 points extra against Middlesbrough, you know, that extra 3 points against Ipswich. And the list goes on and on, you know, the Southampton game. We can keep going back and looking back at games and highlights, and potentially we could be 9-10 points better off. All of a sudden, the old outlook looks completely different. You're in the top half of the table, you're probably sitting 6th in the league, and sometimes football can be very cruel. Oh,
it's torturing yourself looking at it like that, Mark. It really is. So you're watching Argyle TV. Remember, you can get those audio and video passes right now over on the Argyle website, with Charlie Price bringing you all of that commentary from 3 o'clock this afternoon. Still plenty more build-up to come here, though, from Home Park. And as it is a season of many firsts for Argyle, visiting lots of new grounds, seeing lots of new players, new fans as well, we're off to Ellen Road for the first time since 2007, after Leeds have spent 3 years in the Premier League. But how is Stephen Schumacher feeling ahead of the game this afternoon?
There's nothing like the start to a new season. The energy, the anticipation, the expectation. You know that buzz in the air. You can feel it. It's going to be our year. It's going to be different this time. It needs to be, for all of us. The emotions of the game get to us all. I know all about that. But whether out on the pitch, in the stands, or on the sidelines, we've all got to do better at all levels. No more surrounding refs, no more abuse, no more intimidation, no more discrimination. Leave the pitch to the players. And those offensive chants, you know the ones. There's never a place for them in the game we love. That beautiful feeling at the start of a new season. Don't ruin it. Let's keep it that way, together. Whether you win, lose or draw, let's make sure that this season is different. We all do it for the love of the game. Let's show our pride and passion in the right way. We all love football, so let's protect the game.
Doesn't get any bigger. I think these are the games that we were all desperate to get to the Championship for. When we seen the 3 teams that were struggling at the back end of last season, we said, look, imagine if we get promoted, we could be going to the likes of Ellen Road, we could be going to Leicester, and this is what we're doing. So it's going to be a great day. It's one that we're really looking forward to. We know we're going to be up against it, but what a challenge.
I imagine kind of picking through and doing the analysis on what Leeds have been like over the last couple of weeks has been interesting, maybe frightening at times, because you just have to look through their squad list and they have unbelievable names, don't they, in that side?
Yeah, I can honestly say I was frightened on Friday night when we were watching them against Leicester, because I think everybody was eagerly waiting to watch that game. 2 of the best sides in the division going at it, and on the night Leeds were outstanding. I know Leicester might have felt that they were below par, the standards that they've set this season, but I think that was down to Leeds. They were brilliant on Friday night, and yet the preparation even before that, they're in really good form. I think they've won 6 out their last 8 or whatever, and they're really motoring. So everyone on the pitch is a strong player, everyone on the bench is a strong player. So yeah, it's as I say, it's a huge challenge.
It is a huge challenge. Knowing you, though, you'll be prepared and confident in some ways too. So how do you go about it? How do you approach it?
Just the way we have done all the time. Ask the lads to be confident and go and be us and go and be brave. Like, yeah, we're going to know we're going to come under spells of pressure. The crowd will be a huge factor in that. But that's been the same everywhere we've been this season so far. So we feel as though our performances have been good, and we just ask the lads to try and be competitive in the game. Now, we have to be organised, have to make sure that we know what we're trying to do off the ball, because you say they've got so many good players. But again, we've been playing well and we've been creating chances, and I'm sure Leeds will be aware of that. So the message will be exactly the same. Yeah, go for it. What have we got to lose? Let's go and have a go.
I suppose the last few weeks have been encouraging as well. You know, going to Ipswich, who are right at the top of the table, battling it out against Middlesbrough, who are one of the form sides in the league as well. So it's not like we haven't come into this cold.
No, and again, we've been saying this is our 16th game in the Championship now, and we've been competitive in 14 out of the previous 15. So the only time we weren't competitive and we felt we were below our own standard. You know, we all know what happened that night, so that'll be the message. Like we can compete at this level now. Leeds are another level, if you like. I had to laugh on Friday night when Gary Weaver said they needed to send some players on loan to save 40 million on the budget. I thought that was hilarious. So Leeds are obviously another level. They're going to be right up there at the top end of the division, but it's a game that we sort of can't fear too much. It's just like go and have a go and see how we get on.
You mentioned the crowd and Ellen Road, obviously historical grounds, tremendous fan base, but you know we're going to have nearly 3,000 up there, and you never know. It's one of those places that if you can try and quieten that place down, it could be a tricky afternoon for Leeds. Is that one of the things you're trying to get the point across to the players?
Probably, yeah. We've said that in the past before as well, at other big stadiums that we've gone to and found ourselves behind straight away. So we tend to won't mention it, but the lads know. They know straight away what we're going to be up against. They understand that we have to get a good start in the game, because if you don't get a good start to the game and they get the momentum, then it becomes a long afternoon. So we have to be trying to be focused on that, just focus on the game, not worry too much about the crowd. I know our fans will back us amazingly, and the lads will give absolutely everything for them, and our fans know that. So try not to take that into the factor, just get on with the game, try and focus tactically of what we've spoken about, and try and be organised and be brave, and then if we can cause an upset, fantastic.
Well, a little bit of a different interview from Shuey there, Mark. It's not very often he speaks so highly of the opposition, and I think that shows once again the task that is ahead of us at Ellen Road this afternoon.
Yeah, I think he's in great spirits as well, though. I think you can see he's happy in the interview and he's relishing the opportunity. Of course, he respects the opposition. He said the Argyle fans will be a huge, 12th man for them this afternoon. And the players will relish going there to play. But as we said before, I think Leeds would have done all their homework as well. We've been talking about Leeds a lot, but they've got to respect Argyle as well. They know they've been quality, and every manager that's come on, or we spoke in the post-match, respected Argyle and said, we got to prepare properly. They're a difficult team to play against. So they know that Leeds. They can't take Argyle lightly this afternoon. So hopefully that should, go into it being a really good game this afternoon.
And this is it as well from a Leeds perspective. The pressure's on them to get 3 points here. This is one of the games where they'll be thinking, we have kind of banked on getting 3 points, so we can go and rock the boat a little bit for them.
Yeah, they don't want to really, just take Argyle too lightly either. That might work in our favour. But as Shuey said, they're in great form. He knows how well they're playing. They beat Leicester, which are the top two you expect to almost get promotion. So it's set up to be another great championship game, and I'm sure Argyle have got to stay in the game and prepare well as they have done, which they always do. And it's going to be an exciting afternoon.
And of course, home park has been somewhat of a stronghold for us this season, but also playing at the likes of Ellen Road. I mean, what does that do to you as a player, playing in these bigger stadiums and maybe League One standard, and moving up to these bigger stadiums?
Well, I think it's an opportunity for players to show their worth as well, show their value. Great place to go and play, as I said. I've been very fortunate to play there. Big crowd, obviously former Premier League opposition as well. So the players will go there and showcase their own performance and as a team. And I think that's what it does. And there's nothing better than going and play against one of the big ties. And there's a potential upset for us this afternoon. I think it'd be a huge scope if we get a result at Ellen Road this afternoon, and just showcase your own game and go there and have lots of confidence.
In a way, is this one of the first big tests for us this season? Because you're playing a side here who were Premiership quality last year, and we've played well in every single game, apart from maybe that Bristol game, admittedly. And now it's almost like, okay, well, this is the measuring stick in a way. This is where we can see where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, I think it is. I think today you're playing against a side who are tipped to obviously maybe win the championship or certainly get automatic promotion. So this is a real challenge for the players, but this is what it's all about. You win League One to get into the championship. They fully deserve to be there. There's been some great games so far. As Shuey said, out of the 15 games we've played, probably 14 of them we've given the opposition a real good game, and obviously the games we have won, we fully deserved it. Home park, we've been excellent, and even on the road, I think we've just been really unfortunate with the outcome of some of the results, and you hopefully over the 46-game campaign that will turn in our favour.
And this is it. We're talking about, it's such a big task, etc. But also, these are the games you want to play.
Of course they are. Yeah, these are the games which you train for and prepare for. These are the games you want to go and challenge yourself against. the Leeds players, as we said, they come down from the Premier League. You've got to believe you can go out and beat them, and just relish the opportunity. Really take it on, and it should be an exciting game. I keep saying that. I want it to be an exciting game.
Willing it into existence.
Willing it to be well, hopefully with Argyle on show, that there's goals and there's entertainment, and let's hope they can they can bring something back this afternoon.
Well, look, we've talked about Leeds quality, but Argyle's got our own bit of quality as well. One of those being the man Morgan Whittaker. He has 3 goals in the last 3 games. Hopefully he can bag another one this afternoon, and he's certainly in a confident mood.
As a player, these are the games you want to play in 100%. And for me, it's the stadium I've always wanted to play at. I think the crowd and the atmosphere, as a player, you want to play in these games.
Do you, on that, so like when you're playing at a big ground or against a big side, how much does it raise you as an opposition player as well?
I think you just got to embrace it. Like, if you're a professional footballer, so like I said, these are the games you want to be involved in, so I think you just got to enjoy the moment. Obviously, you've got to respect Leeds, but not be too fearful of them, otherwise we'll get sucked into the atmosphere and it'll be a hard afternoon. So we've got to go there, play our own game, respect them, but not be too fearful.
You say not be too fearful. They are playing very well at the minute. Obviously beat Leicester, who were the runaway leaders in their last game. If you look through their squad, it's Premier League quality. So how do you try and get all of that out of your brain if you can?
Yeah, I think obviously that's why you have to respect them, because they are a Premier League side. But obviously against Leicester they were really, really good. But the thing about the Championship, anyone can beat anyone. So like no one would have thought Norwich would have happened for us. So we've got to take that mindset into Leeds.
On you, let's talk about you a little bit. 3-3 for you, even with the cross that went in against Middlesbrough. Are you feeling like really good in yourself at the moment?
Yeah, I think so. I think anyone that scores in 3 games, you're going to get confidence going into the next game. But I think for me, I don't want to get too carried away. I think if I'd not scored in 3 games, I have to treat it the same as if I have scored in 3. Because I obviously don't want to get too carried away when I have scored and not get too down when I'm not. So just taking game by game, and obviously I'm really happy I'm scoring, but I don't want to get too ahead.
Yeah, and you're not, you're not the only one scoring as well. That must be a kind of a help, I suppose. I know we've lost Ryan and Moose, but you've been scoring goals. Finn's chipping in with goals as well. Even the skipper scored his first for a while, didn't he? So you mustn't feel the burden, I suppose, to be the only one.
Yeah, I think that's what's so good about our team. It's the same as last year. Say if I wasn't scoring or performing, then there's someone else that can. I think that if I'm not scoring, I can also assist everyone else. I think that's the same with everyone, like Finn and Luke, and everyone can do the same. They can score and assist, so that's why everyone's scoring.
Just to finish on, Ellen Road, obviously a massive stadium, and Leeds, one of the kind of best followed sides in the country, but we've got almost 3,000 going up to Yorkshire on the weekend. That's going to be some spectacle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think any time we have an away game, the fans are unbelievable, and I think that's why I said we have to respect them but not be too fearful, because obviously we've got a lot of fans travelling. I think when the smaller team goes to the bigger team and giving too much respect, then it's over before it starts. So we've obviously got to respect them but take the game to them at the same time.
So over 3,000 members of the Green Army cheering on Argyle up at Ellen Road this afternoon, and of course Whittaker part of that side. How important, how key is he for this afternoon's game, Mark?
Huge. I think he's been a revelation since he's permanently signed. I think getting him on loan was great work from the chairman and his directors and his backers, but then to purchase him from Swansea. I was very fortunate to see him up at Derby when I was working up at Derby there, and he was in the under-23 squad, and Mel Morris had this plan where him, Lewis Sibley, Zach Knight, a lot of young players were going to come through and make the club a lot of money. And I was shocked that he went to Swansea and he didn't go there for big money. So to actually get him on a permanent sign, I think he's just been a revelation. But I think Shuey's got to get an enormous amount of credit in his staff, because the way that they've managed him, he's not. You can almost see he's a sensitive lad. He's lovely to be around. Really nice guy, and he's just playing with so much confidence, and that's down to man management. He's not one to be ranted or raved at. I don't think you're going to get the best out of players, so it's about how you treat your players, and I think the way Shuey's handled Morgan Whittaker, I mean, look at the results he's getting from it. He's not only entertaining the crowd, he's playing with freedom and confidence in his goals. He's backing that up with the goals, and all of a sudden that £1 million looks very cheap now, doesn't it?
Well, I feel like he's a Championship's worst kept secret. I don't understand what other sides haven't seen. Like, why? How did Swansea let him go for £1 million? Well, our gain, I'm not going to complain about it, but it just seems that Shuey saw something in Whittaker that no one else did, and now it's reaping rewards.
I think what it is, David, it's a lot of it, the way you manage players as well. It's an individual game now. It's very difficult, whereas the old school would be you tar everybody with the same brush. What I mean by that is if the result, you're all rubbish, you've all done this, you've all done that. Well, actually, there'll probably be certain players in that game who actually done well. So it's about getting the best out of the individual, and some players like to, be challenged. Other players like to have the arm around them and be a bit more protective, and obviously they've got to go and prove that, and they've got to go and respond with the performance. But Morgan is very much like that. I think he's been managed superbly well. He was obviously devastated when he left after his loan period.
Sure.
I think he struggled a little bit after that. So to come back and for that, like I said, that £1 million, which is big for Argyle. Let's respect that as well for the chairman and the directors to actually purchase him in Ballymumba was brilliant business, and they're certainly reaping the rewards.
And I mean, he's already scored 7 times this season as well. He's practically paid back the £1 million.
He certainly has, and I think he's just great to watch, isn't he? He's one of them. I think we're allowed to say that. He gets bums off seats, doesn't he? He really does, because he entertains, and you can see he's so confident. He's not scared to shoot, and if he misses a target, no problem, because I know the next one I'll bend in the top corner, which he has done on a couple of occasions. So no, great to see him playing so well, and he's been a great addition.
Well, we were saying there, just as the highlights were playing, everything he does just looks so slick all the time. Was that the case when you were with him at Derby?
Well, I think it's just a confidence player. I think it's in there, and it's the case of the management and the backroom staff. You try to get the best out of the individual. You can go and watch a player, and you can think, okay, he'll work for us, he'll work for our system, and it's the way you manage him and play them in that role. And I think, we're sitting in a difficult position in the league, and that's not reflected on how he's been playing, how the team's been playing. But I think a confidence player can achieve anything.
And there has been talk about playing him through the middle with Hardy and Bundu either side. I mean, would that be something you consider?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't like to mark that. Sure.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Because that is a real threat, and it's a real outlet for Argyle. Having those three would really frighten the opposition. I think when it does come to that, we get Hardy back fit and Bundy back fit. That front three could be a real force.
Well, we're moving ever so closer to that 3 o'clock kickoff at Ellen Road. And with Argyle playing Leeds today, we thought we would have a chat with somebody who has a foot in both camps of these sides. Nigel Martyn grew up a Argyle fan and, of course, played for Leeds for over 7 years. He recently caught up with Charlie Price on the Argyle podcast to discuss how he almost signed for Argyle.
Playing non-league football for my brother's works team that were called Heavy Transport, and that was in the Dutchy League, going back probably, I think it would have been about the 83-84 season, something like that. And I got invited up for a trial to Plymouth, and as any sort of young lad in that area knows, that's the big break or the big chance. And came up on trial. The weather was horrendous, so the training ground wasn't fit for use. So we were taken to a sports hall for a training session. The sports hall floor was rock hard, so they didn't want any diving or anything like that. So there wasn't really much of a chance to impress. We were doing sort of just basic catching drills and things like that, which, is not really going to tell you much about anybody. I was then supposed to play a South East Counties game at home park against Newport, but that one got rained off for a waterlogged pitch. And after that, I was never contacted again. So it was a bit disappointed because, I was an Argyle fan. I used to go and watch in the early 80s, and go get the train up from St Austell and go and watch everything. So that would have been a chance to play for your sort of local side. So I was a bit disappointed with that, but that's just what happens.
Yeah, well, I mean, who knows what would have happened post then, but for someone local, as you say, goalkeeper training or like trial in a sports hall when you can't dive. I mean, you must have been absolutely devastated, thinking, how am I supposed to show anything off here?
I mean, my brother took a day off work to drive me up. My mum came with us in the car for sort of moral support, and I just remember going there and it, like, everything was changing. Originally we were meant to meet at the training ground, but obviously it was, can you just get to this sports hall? So sort of we did that, and it was a bit disappointing, but I understand, back then the training grounds would have been boggy, to say the least, and they can't ruin them for the rest of the season if it's unusable. So I understand the situation, but I think it was just not the follow-up call afterwards was probably the thing that's a bit disappointing, I guess.
Yeah, having not been able to show anything of yourself really, other than, like you say, chucking and catching a ball.
Yeah, throwing it up, taking the ball at the highest point, throwing it between, I think there were 3 or 4 of us there, and a coach. And I mean, there wasn't even sort of half volleys or volleys and things like that. It was all pretty much thrown. I guess it was probably a health and safety issue even back then.
How different it may have been, Nigel, if you'd worn the green of Argyle, but played at home. Did you ever play at home park ever?
No,
actually?
It's
No.
one of my biggest regrets in football. Actually, never got to play there. The closest I got was when I was at Everton, so right at the back of my career. Everton were drawn away to Plymouth in the League Cup. I'll say I don't know what the format it was, probably then. And literally the game or the weekend before, I'd done my calf at Charlton in the Premier League game, and even though David Moyes, who was the manager, said he would have played Richard Wright in that game anyway, he wouldn't have played necessarily his strongest starting 11 in that game. I think I would have still travelled and got on the bench and still have got on the pitch.
And you can listen to that full chat between Charlie and Nigel on the Argyle podcast over at pafc.co.uk. You're watching Argyle TV with all of that pre-match analysis before we kick off at 3 o'clock this afternoon against Leeds United at Ellen Road. Over 3,000 members of the Green Army up there in the north. A long journey up there. And of course, Leeds the only unbeaten side at home. Hopefully Argyle can ruin the party this afternoon, though, as we caught up with the opposition manager, Daniel Farke, for his thoughts on Plymouth Argyle.
I like them a lot, and I have to say I'm respectful, because this team, especially in last season, was used to win football games, and you could see that they still play with this confidence and also this freedom during this season. So they had some brilliant results, especially at home, but also really impressive and really good away performances. For example, the game away at Ipswich, I think in many periods and spells they were the better side, and they were absolutely unlucky to lose this game. And this speaks just alone volumes about their quality. They have quality players who have scored goals, players who have delivered so interesting offensive players. Always play brave and with courage and a bit cheeky in a positive way. And I really like this, and we have to be spot on in order to be highly motivated to be successful in this game. That's I'm full of respect for this task, and we have to be on it. In this league, you have to make sure that there is not one game where you go into this game with it's just another game in the office, because for Plymouth it will be one of the games of the season. So they've worked so hard over the last course of the season to have these games. Away game at a full packed Ellen Road, and for each and every player it's a highlight of the season. And if we go into this game with the attitude it's just another home game, just another day in the office, we have no chance to win the points. But this game has the same value like the Leicester game, because it's also about 3 points. And we have to make sure that we go into it and everyone is prepared in the perfect way. And to be honest, we need the whole stadium. We need the ticket office, we need the guys who sell the burgers, we need each and every supporter to make sure that we create an atmosphere where it's outstanding, where it's impressive for our opponent, where we make sure, no, it's our fortress, it's Ellen Road. And I want our supporters even more excited and even more on it in this game, and to create an even better atmosphere than in the way stand at Leicester, because we need this, and we need this attitude also within the group of players. And for this, players like Luke Ayling, like Carl Darlow, like Liam Cooper are crucial, and we need them to create this atmosphere, because these 3 points have the same value like the other 3 points. It's not like, okay, we can lean back and with 99%, no, we have to be more in it. And I tell you what, everyone who is in the stadium has to make sure that we're really absolutely on it and create a buzzing atmosphere, because we want to keep going and want to win the next pretty important points.
So Daniel Farke there calling on the burger salesman to be the 12th man for Leeds this afternoon. It was passionate from him though, right?
He was very passionate. I think he wants to go there and he knows the task in hand. He needs to get them back into the Premier League and he wants that passion and that atmosphere. And I think it will without Ellen Road. It creates that itself. So again, it's set up to be a great championship afternoon.
I mean, let's be fair, that win against Leicester, that was a statement win by Leeds.
I think so. He said about Rutter, I mean, the £36 million player, you know, he's repaid some of that transfer fee, hasn't he? Brilliant marker, 2 top sides looking to bounce back into the Premier League. And with the resources, as we said, and the players and, you know, the wage bill, God knows what that would be. You know, that they should, it's not as easy. Sometimes you have the backlash of coming down from the Premier League and the Championship is relentless. But I think they've responded well and... he showed that with that passionate interview. He wants Leeds fans to really get behind his side this afternoon.
And this is the thing, he's got a lot of pressure on him as well to go straight back up to the Premier League, the second best defence in the league, Leeds United. I mean, where are their weaknesses, Mark?
Well, I don't think they've got many. They've only lost 3 all season. They've won 4 of their last 5. They had that huge statement, didn't they, against Leicester, as we said, beating Huddersfield comfortably 4-1. And they're just on the crest of a wave at the moment. They're playing well, but as we said, Argyle got to go up there, and I think he's clearly said that he's hugely respecting Argyle. They've got to be on their best form to beat us, and I think that's a great statement for Shu and his team. And we've got to not disappoint that. We've got to go up there and really put them on the back foot. Be patient at times. I don't think we can afford to be too open because you can see from the highlights we're watching now. They are creative and they do score goals.
Yeah, once they get behind that back line, they're away at the races, really, aren't they?
Well, they're ruthless, yeah, and you can see that by the quality. I think if you stand off them, allow them, you're going to get punished at any level. And I think that's something we've worked on the training ground this week. We've got to be organised, we've got to be tight, resilient, hard to beat to get a result there.
And this is the thing, you could have argued at the start of the season, will there be a bit of a relegation hangover for them and the positivity of Argyle getting promoted, would it go in our favour? But actually, they have completely put the memories of last season behind them.
Yeah, they have. I think they've really settled in now, and 15 games in, they're really pushing. They're in a great position. Very early stage, as we know, but you're coming into this period now, lots of games in a short period of time, and then we approach the festive period. And they're going to be thereabouts for sure.
And I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but you said earlier on about how you're willing this to be an entertaining game. I fail to see how it can't be an entertaining game between these two sides. You've got one of the best attacking sides in Argyle, and then also one of the best attacking sides in Leeds. I think could potentially be a fair few goals at Ellen Road.
Yeah, let's hope it is, and let's hope it is in the Argyle, the ones who to score them. All the talking's been done now, all the preparation's been done. It's we're sort of 20 minutes away from kick-off now, and I think they've got to go and take the game to Leeds, be patient at times, and when those opportunities do present themselves, let's hope we can take them.
Well, let's have a look at those team lineups once again. Let's start with the team news from Argyle. There's a man once again, Morgan Whittaker, who we spoke about earlier on. He could be key this afternoon. But those big talking points from the side, I mean, we are missing a couple of players in the form of Hardy and Miller, but there's a few changes in there that could also cause a few bits of damage.
Yeah, there is. If you look at that, they've all played first-team football. Zaz is in great form. You've got Houghton in there, really backing up the midfield, just protecting the back three for Argyle. Ballymumba, we know how flamboyant he is, and he can get forward and defend. So look, there's a real mixture in there of players. Randall comes in with his ability in midfield to orchestrate midfield, and as we said, that lineup there, and even the players who come on from the bench have got a huge afternoon ahead of them. And I'm sure they're up for that challenge.
Well, I mean, one player starting this afternoon, of course, Pleggy. I mean, we have mentioned the defensive problems. That could be the solving issue this afternoon.
Yeah, he's been superb, and he's probably unlucky to be out the side on a couple of occasions. And again, someone who wears his heart on his sleeve, very passionate, very aggressive. And again, it's a great opportunity for him this afternoon.
And we see Wayne on the bench this afternoon as well. I mean, how are you rating him so far as a championship striker?
Yeah, Ben Wayne, I think, coming in from New Zealand, you've got to remember he's only 22 years of age, and unfortunately time doesn't allow you to mature, and results are always dictated. And I think we talked about it before. You got 9 players on the bench, and you could be involved with the first team for months on end, but if you don't get that game time, I think he needs game time. He's getting used to the English football as well. He is aggressive. He's a real hard worker and runner, and I think he does need time to settle. And hopefully, he's going to bode well for the future.
Hopefully so. Let's have a quick look, though, at that Leeds side this afternoon as well, full of Premier League experience. And we mentioned it earlier, when you compare the two budgets of these sides, that's certainly a talking point in itself. I mean, who for you in there? I mean, I suppose you could pick many of the players, but who for you is definitely ones to keep your eye on?
Well, Somerville's obviously got to be one at number 10, who, he's 5 goals this season. He's their top scorer. Rutter, as we talked about, that £36 million transfer fee, which is incredible. Liam Cooper stands out. He's led by example. Their captain, but there's a number of players there, Dave. We could go through the whole squad, even on the bench. It's a Premier League side. It's full of quality right throughout, not only just from the bench, but in their starting 11 as well.
And this is the thing, we're not going into this game this afternoon scared in a way. We're going into this game of, okay, let's test ourselves against that side.
Of course, that's what you've got to do. It's at the end of the day, it's 11v11. You've got to match up. You've got to make sure the player you're playing against doesn't get better with you over the 90+ minutes. And
this is a thing. I mean, you want to play these games. This is what the Championship's all about. We mentioned earlier, it's a league where you will be punished for those mistakes, but also it's a league where you can really pull off some major scalps as well.
Yeah, I think this afternoon, if we get a result here at Ellen Road, it will be a magnificent result for the international break as well. I think it'll be a fantastic statement for us as well. But we've looked at the Argyle squad. We've looked at the Leeds squad. The manager, obviously Varg, has looked up and said, he respects us hugely, and they've got to be at their best to beat us this afternoon.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. As a player, how is that getting a win before that international break, before having a few weeks away, coming off the back of a win? What is it like as a player in the training camp, in the dressing room, to have that confidence going into 3 weeks away from the pitch?
Yeah, I think it's huge because, you want to... Winning's a great habit, isn't it? And you want to get a good result before that break because you do dwell on it. It is a long time before you next play again. And football's has a great thing there. You can put it right. If you lose on a Saturday in the Championship, you're probably playing Tuesday or Wednesday, put it right. So the games do come thick and fast. So it's not great losing a game going into the international break because purely you just dwell on it too much. And I think that allows you too much time to think about it.
Sure.
So I think you give everything before the international break, which all the players do, and make sure we can get something from the game.
Well, we are moving ever so closer to kick-off this afternoon at Ellen Road. Just a kind reminder, you can get your video or audio pass right now over on the Plymouth Argyle website. We'll give you all of the commentary so you won't miss a moment of the action as we look to complete our build-up here at home Park. Let's have a look, though, at those other games happening across the Championship this afternoon as well. We'll get those up for you now. Of course, that earlier game, Sunderland winning 3-1 against Birmingham City. Wayne Rooney not having a pleasant time on his return to England. Cardiff City as well against Norwich. You got Coventry there against Stoke City. Hull going to Huddersfield Town, the Yorkshire derby. There are also some big home games for the likes of Ipswich Town against Swansea City. Of course, us against Leeds United at Ellen Road as well. The next set of fixtures for you there as well. Middlesbrough at home to Leicester City. That certainly is going to be a spicy affair there. Queen's Park Rangers as well at home against Sheffield Wednesday, and of course you've got Bristol City against Queen's Park Rangers. It's Sheffield Wednesday at home to Millwall. Southampton at home to West Brom a few seasons ago. That could have been a Premier League fixture. And Watford against Rotherham United as well. And this is a thing, isn't it, with the Championship, Mark, that one win can make you shoot up the table, one loss can make you shoot right back down again. It is one of those leagues that anything can happen in just the space of 3 games.
Yeah, it certainly does. It turns around very quickly. That just goes to show how close this Championship is. And you can be punished. You could lose a few games, all of a sudden you can see yourself drop down the table. But I think we said before, if you looked at the reflect of the season so far, Argyle probably could potentially be 9 points better off with the results we talked about. And all of a sudden we're talking about 7th or 6th in the table.
Something like that.
It looks better, but I'm a great believer that over the course of the season it balances out. You get the rewards, and I think the way we've been performing, especially at home, and if you get enough points on the road, we'll be absolutely fine.
And this is the thing, yes, you can torture yourself and say, oh, we'd be 5th, we'd be 6th, but how positive is that we're sat here and we're not thinking, oh, we're battling. Well, we're struggling against relegation. We're going into every game with confidence, Argyle, which is a completely positive mindset to have this season.
Yeah, I think it is. I think we look like an established championship
Exactly,
side,
yeah.
That's a great respect to Shuey and his staff and the background. They're doing a great job. Unfortunately, the reflections so far, we are getting punished by quality in the championship, and that's the difference between League One and League Two. There's only been that one game against Bristol City, as you said, where we fell short of the standards.
We'll forget that game. We'll forget it.
But if you look at the 15 games we played, if you're talking about one game we didn't perform in, that's not a bad response.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, to turn around and say, look, we've played okay as a minimum out of, 14 of the 15 games we played, something like that. That's an incredible result for a newly promoted side.
Yeah, it is. I think it'll breed confidence as well. And the longer we go on, we are still learning. Shuey's not managing this league before. He's learning from that, and he's maturing as well. And I think that reflects on the way we've been playing, the goals we've been scoring, the entertainment value. If we can just tighten up in certain areas, and unfortunately, we have been punished or conceded just at the wrong times.
And this is the thing with that kind of, I don't want to say lack of experience, because it's a positive in terms of you can go to Ellen Road this afternoon with no fear whatsoever as a manager, as a player, that it's not a free hit, but it's the pressure isn't on Argyle this afternoon. It's all on Leeds.
Yeah, of course. Leeds are expected to win today at home. They sit third in the table for a reason. They're a former Premier League opposition. They are expected to win this afternoon. So for the Argyle players to listen to all that hype before the game, they can be quietly confident and believe they can go and get a result this afternoon.
So your final thoughts then, Mark, for this game. Leeds United against Plymouth Argyle.
Tough task, but I think you've got to believe you can go out there and get a result, and I fully believe and hope that Argyle can come back with something this afternoon.
And those key players to watch out for, in your opinion?
Well, Morgan Whittaker, we've seen him highlighted. He's going to be a huge task. He could be the one who's going to create something for us or score that winning goal. Izaz has been in great form. He can create things. But I think the players defensively as well has got to be at their best. I think every player this afternoon has got to put in a top performance for us to get some at Ellen Road this afternoon.
And this is it. It's an exciting game this afternoon. These are the championship games you want.
Games you want to play in, games you prepare for. This is what training Monday to Friday means. And the outcome is a fantastic trip to Ellen Road with a great atmosphere and a great game to watch.
Well, we'll be watching from here at Home Park. We will pass over, though, to Ellen Road. Over 3,000 members of the Green Army up there. If you haven't already, do get your match passes now for your audio or visual feed over on the Argyle website as we pass over things now to Lee Makel and Charlie Price.
The away day. A shared passion and commitment. 12,000 miles across the season. Unforgettable memories, past players, the goals. Waiting players, supporters, young and old. Capturing the moment, living the dream. Green Army, belting out the Janusol. The stands, the shirts, the drum beats, the surging crowd moving as a giant wave. Crusaders, one and all. The Green Army.
touch. 2 goals in 2 games for the lad who is firmly back in the Argyle fold now. Good afternoon. Welcome along to